Have you heard about the new piece of legislation surrounding Bitcoin and how this could absolutely skyrocket the price of the digital currency? Well, if not, I'm going to be discussing all the details for you here in this video and also explaining how and why this is massively bullish for Bitcoin and all the other cryptos out there that we're all watching. So if you're into cryptocurrency and digital currencies, this is very exciting and you probably want to know about this. So I'm going to share all the details with you here in this video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. First off, thanks so much for liking and sharing this video with those buttons down below. I really do appreciate it. Also, do you know someone that may benefit from this information here in the video? If so, will you make sure to share this video with them? Again, with the share button down below. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Let's get into it and talk about it. All right, now first off, let me ask you a quick question. Have you heard of the petroleum reserves that we have here in the United States? In fact, they're called strategic petroleum reserves. We have a few of them around the country and where they store hundreds of millions of barrels of oil all across the country, and these are to be tapped into in the event of an emergency or some type of situation where we don't have any oil and we need oil here in the United States, right? That's the whole point of these reserves. Now, sometimes some people like to tap into these things to lower gas prices by 3 cents for about a day or two at the gas pumps and maybe try to drum up a little bit of business, but that is not what they're supposed to be used for. They're supposed to be set aside for in the event of someday if there's some kind of emergency or type of situation where we need to draw on them, right? These are the strategic petroleum reserves. However, what would you think if they did the same thing for Bitcoin, right? A strategic national Bitcoin reserve, okay? Well, guess what? They're talking about it. This is a thing. Now, again, I want to bring you the piece of legislation that was also introduced just recently here and what this would mean for the price of Bitcoin as well, because this is massively, massively bullish if they were to come out and do this, which I would not be shocked whatsoever if they do something very, very similar to this and if this actually does happen to be a thing here, okay? So either way, like I said, if you're into crypto, if you're into Bitcoin, you certainly want to know about this because this is going to be massively bullish for the digital currency space. So anyway, a couple days ago, Trump and a bunch of other people were at the National Bitcoin Convention in Tennessee. Okay, well, as a result of that, they introduced different ideas like this, and I want to bring this to your attention. And by the way, we've seen Bitcoin rally about 20% since we got some of these announcements. So, I mean, we're already off to the races a little bit. Obviously, we're going to see prices significantly higher than this. Which, by the way, quick side note, no, this is not investing advice. This is not trading advice. This is not advice in any way, shape, or form. I don't know your situation. I'm not telling you should do anything when it comes to buying, trading, selling, anything like that with crypto or anything like that. I'm not saying that. So again, just want to throw the disclaimer out there really quickly, okay? But here's what they want to do. There's a piece of legislation that was introduced, and it's calling on the Treasury to purchase 1 million Bitcoin. Now, here's why this is so interesting. A million Bitcoin might be like, it's just a million coins, right? It's not that much. But here's the thing. It's a lot considering there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever. That's all there ever will be. Now, here's the thing. You already know that, right? But if we were to see, a piece of legislation come out and say, buy 1 million shares of XYZ stock, 1 million shares of any given stock is like virtually nothing, right? There's tons and tons, hundreds of millions of shares of any given stock. So 1 million is not that much. However, when we're talking about Bitcoin being only 21 million coins ever that will ever be in the history of Bitcoin, 1 million is actually a lot. Percentage-wise, that's a big percent that they are calling on the Treasury to buy, right? Now, this would cost about $70 billion, which, by the way, the Treasury has basically unlimited amounts of money because they can just print more when they want more, right? Which that's a whole other discussion in and of itself. It can cause inflation, all kinds of stuff. But my point is, $70 billion when it comes to the Treasury is not that much money, okay? The whole point of this would basically be buy 1 million Bitcoin, set them aside, and would be part of this strategic national Bitcoin reserve, okay? Now, do you think if we had a buyer that just came in called, I don't know, the Treasury, that just decided, hey, we're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin right now, do you think that much buying pressure over a relatively short amount of time would be bullish or bearish for Bitcoin price? I'm going to tell you this much. It's going to be bullish, right? But not only that, it's not only so much about the initial buying of the 1 million coins. I mean, that, yeah, obviously would have some buying pressure, would have some bullish tendencies, things like that. But it's more the confidence and basically the full faith of the Treasury stepping in and basically buying 1 million is what would be so important about this transaction, okay? It's not necessarily about exactly the 1 million coins that we bought. It's more about the full faith of the government stepping in and saying, hey, we back Bitcoin here, and we're basically buying 1 million of them, okay? That is what we'd be most bullish about this. If we, across the entire country, we start to see this and people start realizing, wait, Bitcoin is just one of these things and the federal government is investing in it. Gee, should I maybe buy a little Bitcoin these days, right? Can you imagine the amount of people that would be jumping in and just buying Bitcoin? I mean, not only here in the United States, but globally as well, basically with this endorsement. That's literally what it would be. It was going to be an endorsement from the federal government, okay? Now, here's the thing as well. As of right now, no, they have not done this. As of right now, this legislation has not been passed. As of right now, the Treasury has not bought 1 million Bitcoin. But I'm just simply saying, this is a piece of legislation that's out there, and they're discussing, and something that may potentially be happening. Now, I want to throw this out there as well. We've heard about these other things like digital dollars, Cbdc, Fed coin, all these things like this, right? What is that? That's the federal government, or what I should say is the Federal Reserve's own digital currency. If the Treasury were to come in and buy 1 million Bitcoin, do you think that that'd possibly be, I don't know, gee, a little bit of competition to the Fed coin or the Cbdc that the Federal Reserve is, having here? Do you think that'd be a little bit of a conflict of interest? Yeah, 100% it would be, right? But again, what is the purpose of buying 1 million Bitcoin? The same example that I gave you earlier in this video, which was the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Buy 1 million, sit on it, and do nothing. Don't tap into it unless otherwise needed so, not to lower gas prices by 3 cents for a day or two, right? Another slam, I know. I had to throw it out there because that's not the point of the reserves, okay? So anyway, so this is the kind of the exciting thing about it. So yes, this is something that's being introduced, and I would not be shocked whatsoever. Now, here's the thing as well. If you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, I've been saying this for years. This country, as well as every other country out there, it's only a matter of time until we 100% adopt a digital currency, whether it's Fed coin, whether it's a digital dollar, whatever they call it, however they do it, there will be a 100% transfer into a digital currency sooner than later. It's not going to be that much longer, okay? The green stuff that we carry around in our pocket that we call money, that is going to be a collectible very soon, okay? I mean, here's the thing. It's practically already a collectible. When was the last time you used cash for anything? I'm not sure about you. I never use cash. Why? There's no point, right? Put it all on the plastic. I mean, seriously, it makes it so much easier, and that's exactly where this country is going. And the whole globe. I shouldn't just say United States. I mean, there are other countries out there that are way more advanced in this than we are, and that's exactly where all this is going because, well, number one, there's a lot of different reasons why, and there's a lot of controversy about it as well. I'm not saying that I agree with 100% of it, but I'm just simply saying is that we are going digital. There's no way around it, okay? We are not going back to coins and paper money. There's just not a chance that we're going back to that. We're practically already digital, right? I mean, not 100%, but we're very, very close to that. And there's a ton of controversy around going 100% digital about like surveillance and stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to go down that road here in this video. There's just no need to. But there's a lot of information that's around there. And again, if they do roll out, like again, 100% digital currency in the United States, something other than a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin equivalent, if it is administered and founded and developed by the federal governments and the Federal Reserve and things like this, then yeah, absolutely, all of these, every single fraction of a coin, whatever it happens to be, will have its own, its own signature, its own footprint, its own fingerprint. And yes, it will be trackable, right? We all know this, okay? Kind of the same thing with obviously blockchain and Bitcoin and all things like this, right? It's all stored in a ledger. So we all have an idea at some point what happened to it, right? We may not know who it went to, why it went there, who paid who for what, and how much and things like that. But we can see the signature and say, oh, there it goes. There it is, right? There's a footprint and there's a trail. There's a trail that tracks that. Right. So anyway, yes, there is some basically some transparency in what's going on. But for the most part with Bitcoin and things like that, and again, obviously, as you know, basically it's just totally anonymous for the most part. Right. But again, that'd be very, very different in the event of a full-fledged digital currency. But anyway, it's pretty exciting. I mean, here's the thing. I'm totally into crypto. Right. I mean, there's a lot of you that are out there way more into this stuff than me. but I love watching all this. I'm just as much into stocks and all the other markets that are out there. But crypto is certainly one to watch, and I've been saying it for a long time now. Get ready. I mean, seriously, I know a lot of people are not fully invested in, when I say invested, I mean like fully believing in crypto and saying, oh, you know, I don't believe in this Bitcoin stuff. That's fine. If you don't want to believe in it, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. But it's the way of the future, okay? There will be 100% adoption of digital currencies across basically the globe, and it's not going to be that much longer, right? Probably not too many years until we're totally there. So anyway, this is a pretty exciting piece of legislation. Obviously, I'm going to continue watching this very closely here. We'll have to see what happens. I would anticipate the next handful of months here between now and the end of, say, 2024. I don't anticipate anything like this passing, but I'm just simply saying we got to see what happens in November, and whatever happens there may give us a much better glimpse into what actually happens with this. But crypto people are very excited about this, and it's just kind of cool, right, to see this happening and to potentially see this type of legislation coming in, because this would be a huge endorsement by basically the federal government. If they were to pass this, basically the federal government saying, sure, we endorse Bitcoin. Obviously, that may not be their exact words, but you know, in a sense, if they were to buy 1 million of them, if the treasury were to step in and buy 1 million, I mean, that's basically, you know, a passive endorsement, if you ask me, right? So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. I hope this helps you. Again, please, as always, leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Subscribe down below. Check out the other videos here on the channel, the thousands of the video library, the ones I've hand-selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And right now, popping up on your screen as well, you'll see some videos there. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later in the